This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
A Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report. Here's Ira Winderman.
There we go. Now we're ready to go. How you doing, Ira?
I'm doing good. I'm actually here in the media workroom in Indiana, and I'm actually going to start today's Acura Pembroke Pines report with a little bit of injury updates. Just got done with Heat shoot around. Bam Adebayo.
Wait a minute. Before you get to the real basketball matter, let's talk about the real story right now at the moment.
Okay.
Kyrie Irving. I gotta get it off. I gotta hear from you too. Yeah, this is really, really, really important. Obviously, he has apologized. It's still kind of a half-ass apology in a way.
Correct.
It's the 5 games. I think the league and the Nets took a little too long actually to act. I'm glad that they have acted finally. But listen, this is not after the fact, and Sean knows it. I've been talking about Hasidic Jews being attacked in Brooklyn, New York over the last year. It's a serious problem. And, if you're not Jewish, you have no idea what anti-Semitism is. If you're not black, you have no idea what racism is. Asians in this country now are being attacked all the time since everything that's gone on with the coronavirus. The LGBT community, has always been treated unfairly. And we have all kinds of minorities or religions or people that are not treated fairly. And this is not just a Jewish thing. We have to learn that spreading hate on any level is not accepted, because when Kanye West went DEFCON 3 on Jewish people, we had 3 Nazi idiots standing above a highway trying to promote that, because there is going to be people who are going to hate blacks, who are going to hate people from the LGBT community, who are going to blame Asians who are here for a virus that they had nothing to do with, and this is why it's so important that we nip this right away. And it doesn't matter. This time it has to be about the Jewish community. But the next time, if it's LGBT, we must stand up for any kind of hate. This is not just a Jewish thing. I want people to understand that there's a lot of people that go through, just brutal situations in life on a day in and day out basis. But you're never going to know what anti-Semitism is unless you're really Jewish and you experience it all the damn time. So we've got to protect everyone in this case. And we've got to understand that spreading this kind of hate does not do any good. It fuels that hatred fire that I don't know why, but we've been doing this in this country the last couple of years.
I agree with your premise, but I would disagree with this. If you have been victimized or have been involved with or have to deal with anti-Semitism, you should appreciate racism. You should appreciate misogyny. You should appreciate it across the board. And that's what is the most troubling aspect of this Kyrie Irving thing. To say, I appreciate X, Y, but not Z, and not to address that. That's the thing to me. I understand Kyrie Irving has indigenous American blood in him from his family and his ancestry. What we have done to indigenous people in this country and throughout the world, as Patty Mills has talked about the Aborigines in Australia, is reprehensible. But we can be at a higher level and appreciate going forward we should be better. Or we can be idiots and bring out things that no one needs to see, no one needs to read. Look, Big O, we're at a time now in our society, people are burning books that should not be burned because they have alternative viewpoints. On the other hand, there is such garbage out there that now can be promoted through social media, of which it's not a cost at all. You just put it on your Twitter, you put it on your Instagram, you put it on your TikTok, then all of a sudden, eyes that never would have seen this material now can look at it. And you know what? Most of us are civilized, intelligent, and smart. But even if 1 in 1,000 or 1 in 10,000 takes it to heart and takes it seriously, that's the problem. And when you have social media followership in the millions, and you are therefore basically inciting hundreds, if not thousands of people, that's where it's wrong. And I got to tell you, it was very interesting. I was connecting from my flight here to Indianapolis through LaGuardia yesterday, and I ran into Nick Friedel, who covers the Nets for ESPN.
Yeah, the exchange.
He was headed for Washington. We know he had the exchange with Kyrie Irving when Kyrie would not answer the questions. And he even said to me, he goes, I think something's going to happen when I'm on the plane. And as I walked to the waiting lounge for my flight to Indianapolis, number one, the Nets announced their 5-game minimum suspension. And then Kyrie offered his apology. Number one, the suspension came way the hell too late. Bad is bad and should be recognized right away. It shouldn't take you a week to go, wow, this really is awful. Number one on the Nets part. Number two, you know this, Big O, because you've been around. What are the odds that Kyrie Irving wrote that statement? What are the odds that his full PR staff and management staff did not go over it? Because Kyrie has shown last year with the whole vaccine thing, he doesn't care if he misses checks. He's beyond that. He's above it. But his agents make the money. But the people who support him need the money. And all of a sudden that came out. So I would say this. I really like Sean Marks when he was with the Heat. I think he is a very good person. I think he has handled this terribly. I do not believe a word that comes in the printed form from Kyrie Irving. I need him in front of a camera, which we now won't see for 2 weeks with the suspension. You can see contrition on someone's face. And I brought this up, Big O, and I hate to be long-winded here as usual. When this happened to Myers Leonard in March of 2021, he was immediately contrite. He felt awful. He worked in the Jewish community more than anyone I've known. As a matter of fact, when I spoke to Eric Spoelstra here at Shoot Around today, I even told him, I said, Spo, as Jewish as I am, I think Myers Leonard might have been more Jewish over the last 18 months than me. He has spent time in different parts of the Jewish community than even I have. And that's the difference. We all make mistakes. Big O, in your 92 years of radio, I am sure there were times you said the wrong thing. And immediately, whether it's your wife or your station manager or someone, and you came back the next day and going, look, people, that's not what I meant. I either didn't know that was a slur, I didn't understand the context of the video I just displayed, and you move forward. Something this egregious should not have run a 2-week course, but it did. And that tells me something about, number one, Kyrie Irving. Number two, the Brooklyn Nets. Number three, the NBA. And I have one more for you to marinate with, and I know this is toward the end of your show today, but we can pick it up Monday in our Acura Pembroke Pines report. Kyrie Irving is still listed as a vice president of the National Basketball Players Association. Can you tell me, Orlando Alzugaray, that the majority of players in the NBA want him as a vice president representing him? Let's say you belong to some sort of fraternity, some sort of Hispanic journalist group, something like that. And you had someone like that who did this and was vice president of your organization. They wouldn't be vice president of your organization much longer. I'd like to hear more from NBA players. Is this a man, a person you want representing you?
Yeah, no, I would imagine that the answer to that is no, that nobody wants that guy representing you, because I don't think most guys have his points of view, and the ignorance that he has shown through all of this, that's to me, that's even been more insulting to the Jewish community. That not only did you post it, but then the ignorance that follows after it. And now this apology, it was forced, it's not real.
But Big O, there are idiots out there in every walk of everything, and that's fine. Here's the difference. When Kanye made a statement, boom, his shoe deal was over. His clothing endorsements were over. His academy wound up being shut down. It was done. So Kyrie's Kyrie, and he's always been out there. So maybe we can just say he's out there. But the Nets are an organization worth billions. The NBA is an organization worth tens of billions. The NBA Players Association is an organization of millionaires. Where was the call from those groups? Where was the disavowalment from those groups that it festered instead? I'm very disappointed in Adam Silver. I think he, and I'll stand by him, has been the best commissioner of the major professional sports league. He is not a Roger Goodell. He cares. He's different. He's not just about the bottom line like Manfred is in baseball. But in this case, you have the organization. So again, Kyrie is a nitwit. Okay, I agree. But all these organizations, where has the disavowalment been? And it's been a long time coming.
By the way, this is the same guy that retweeted an Alex Jones tweet too. So
all part of it. And again,
this is why he can't be taken serious at anything, and why
he has the social media network of millions. He has hundreds and thousands of times more followers than you do and I do. So all the people with common sense have this kind of reach. Sorry if you're listening on the podcast, but someone like Kyrie has this kind of reach, and that's the difference. So his misinformation gets out a lot easier than the corrective information of journalists, people like you, people like me.
Yeah, but then again, the league is in bed with China, and you know.
Oh yeah, it's business. Yeah, it's still business. Don't kid yourself one thing about it. But I expect better from good people like Adam Silver, from Sean Marks, like Chris Paul, rather like CJ McCollum, the president of the Players Association. I expect better from them because I know they're good people.
All right, now let's get to the play stuff. Let's get
sports.
To, let's get to the playroom. Let's step into the playroom now.
So went to shoot around today. Bam Adebayo was listed as questionable with the knee bruise. He was great. He just said, "Ira, I'm not going to let bone to bone, knee to knee stop me. I'm going to be out there." He goes, "When have you seen me not play?" And it was interesting because there was honesty and candor from Eric Spoelstra. They're listing Jimmy Butler out as hip soreness. But Spo said he just needs the time. He needs the management. And you know what? You and I have spoken on our Acura Pembroke Pines reports about this. You got to be careful with Jimmy. You got to be careful with Kyle. When you're in your mid to late 30s, you need them for May and hopefully for June. So I think this is prudence. Again, like I said on Wednesday with our RedRecover.com Inside the Paint report, with Jimmy being held out in that game or going into that game, you know, it's just a matter of you got to look at the opponent. You probably can beat the Kings without Jimmy. You barely did, but you did. And the thought is the Pacers, who are still looking a little bit at the lottery right now. Miles Turner coming back from an injury. You probably still could be able to pull this out with Hero, with Adebayo, with Lowry. So you pick your spots. I think that's what they're doing right now with Jimmy Butler.
By the way, I got to say, I got to see a ton more, but I like the Lowry I saw the other night.
Yes. And again, but here's the problem. And I wrote about this at the Sun Sentinel today. Kyle only seems to feel like he needs to step up when someone else isn't there. So look at the last two games. Kyle's been very good. Tyler Hero did not play the second half of the game against the Warriors when he was injured in that game, took the shot into the eye. Kyle Lowry activated in the second half. Jimmy Butler was out against the Kings. Kyle Lowry activated the whole game. What he'd need to find a way is in this new lineup with Adebayo, with Hero, with Martin, with Butler and Lowry, for Lowry to find his way without deferring. $28 million players, I hate to always raise the money, but $28 million players shouldn't defer. They should be leading men. So I think that's something that they have to work on. I'm still not sold on this lineup right now.
Well, hypnotize him before the game and tell him
someone's out.
Jimmy
You do
Butler
not see Jimmy
out of the game.
Right.
Bam Adebayo will not be on the court. You'll be passing to somebody that looks like him.
Yeah,
you know, and that's it. And then
you got to make this lineup work better. I can't have Kyle taking this many days off like he has to this point. I agree.
Yeah, no, but I like that. And listen, down the stretch, it was a cool way to end. Strus had a big three. Tyler had the monster shot. Bam had some really nice passes and a drive. Lowry, it was a nice finish to that game. I get it. You eked out a win, whatever. I don't expect you to be a dominant team without Jimmy Butler. You know what I mean?
No, and just like the Dolphins, and the last play against the Lions wasn't called PI, so you take it and you move on. You get the W. Because you know what? At the end of the day, maybe good things happen to good teams. So maybe you always look back when your team was down, whether it was the Dolphins, whether it was the Heat, whether it's whether it was the Panthers, and you say to yourself, you know what? They'll get the respect. Look what Mike Brown said after the game. I know that's a travel, but we're the Kings and we wear the word Kings across our chests and we don't get the breaks. You know what, Big O? It's true. When you are a winning organization that are viewed as winners, that good things will happen to you. It's turning for the Dolphins right now and it's turned for the Heat in recent years.
Yeah, no, I listen. In the end, I know that this won't be the finished product. Eric will figure it out. He'll get him to play harder. He'll get now. The question is, you know, what we saw from Tyler the other night. Who's the guy that's going to step up and be that star every night next to Jimmy? Because I think that's what's really needed. It's not of, hey, let's stand around. No, Kyle, it's your turn tonight. No, Bam, it's your turn tonight. No, Tyler, it's your turn tonight. Oh, Strus, it's your turn tonight. I think that's where it gets dangerous for Miami. I really believe whether it's Tyler or somebody else, but somebody's got to step up.
And that's why this lineup doesn't work, Big O, because Bam wants to step up and get his 18 shots a game, and Tyler wants to get his 34 points a game. And there's only so much to go around. This team would be so much better if Max Strus started and Tyler Hero came off the bench as the sixth man. All of a sudden, you have balance. All of a sudden, we have no idea when Victor Oladipo is going to be back. So all of a sudden, you have no shot creation on that second unit. And you have to work through it. Look at the last game and a half when Max Strus was with the starters, how much better this team looked. That's the difference. You get the shooting in there. You get that element. It even helped elevate Duncan Robinson in that role also, not playing as much with Max Strus. So I know you want your best players to be out there. I know you don't give a guy 4 years, 130 max if he gets his incentives like Tyler Hero. But for the greater good, I think right now, if Tyler was sixth man, you'd have a better rotation, if not necessarily, like Tyler would think, a better starting lineup.
All right, so I'll ask you something that I'm pretty sure is unfair to you because it's a little early in the process for us to get to that. But, you know, not the expiring, but the deals that people will buy out towards the deadline. Who are there any of those kind of candidates already popping up that could be a buyout towards the deadline?
Well, Jay Crowder's been sitting there the whole season, and the Suns are so good and they don't need him that his name will be out there. Big O, I'm going to turn your question around a little and wrap this all up to what we started today's Acura Pembroke Pines report with. If the Brooklyn Nets keep going in the crapper like this, the Kevin Durant stuff is going to start all over again. Okay. Then you're going to look at the way they extended Tyler Hero and made him untradeable. And if they didn't, they might have had a deal to put into play. But I'm telling you, the beauty of it, whether it's you and me Monday and Fridays on the Acura Pembroke Pines report, Wednesday on our redrecover.com with Kurt Heelan inside the paint, you are going to see Kevin Durant rumors start with every additional Brooklyn Nets loss. Because if he wasn't happy there before, and now that he's got Kyrie going off the deep end, what else is there for him? And you know what we've learned? Ben Simmons ain't no savior. Him coming through that door hasn't changed a damn thing in Brooklyn.
Wow. Damn, I was asking for a buyout guy, and you went Kyle Schwarber bat-flipping home run on my ass here.
F yeah.
Wow, that was good. All right, what else you working on the Sunset will get us ready for the Pacers?
Couple of things. I just posted a notebook. Tyler Hero don't want to hear about his call being a travel. He says, I scored. The game is over. You can read your officiating reports. Wrote a story early today.
Jordan, Jesus Christ.
You know, whatever. He's just going to do it. Wrote a story early today. The Heat are making zone defense work because they really have to, because they do have a bunch of negative defenders on their roster and they have to work around that. And they did it my Ask Ira today on Dwayne Dedman. And you know what? As awkward as he might be at times, Big O, you need that muscle in there. Sometimes you just need the big muscle to pull out them guns and give you 14, 15 minutes. Dwayne, after he got those 2 days of rest, has been very good in the last 2 games. I think that's been helpful as well.
Follow him on Twitter at Ira Heatbeat. And more importantly, subscribe to the South Florida Sun Sentinel. Support Ira and all the excellent writers there at the paper. Ira, as always, thank you, my friend. We will catch up next week.
Monday with more Kevin Durant rumors. Thank you, Big O.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Damn. He bat flipping Kyle Schwarber on my ass. By the way, that bat flip was all right. Yeah, you know, they're making a little too much out of that bat flip. You know, it didn't have enough style. You know what I'm saying? But it is what it is. Now, Ira Winderman, he's got style. That's your Acura Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report.
You've been listening to the Acura of Pembroke Pines, Miami Heat and NBA report with Ira Winderman. When you're looking for award-winning service and great deals.